Can you hush? Thank you. Bro. Dude. I told you to shush. Oh my god, I'm gonna lose it. Hey, hi, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well today. Today I'm gonna do another week with you guys of going through and using one palette for an entire week, as you can probably see by the title. And this week we are using the Anastasia Amrezy palette. I hope I didn't just blind you guys, but as you can see, this palette has a lot more neutral shades than the one that I worked with last, and it has a few pops of color, but in general it's pretty neutral. And also it has a lot less shades than the one that I worked with last time, which was the James Charles X Morphe palette. So this series essentially is just to show how versatile a palette can be, how many different looks you can get using one palette, and hopefully to help you guys out with some ideas if this is a palette that you guys are interested in. Also, before I start, this is something that has to move very, very quickly, as I'm sure you are all aware if you watched my last one. So grab your coffee, mine's almost gone, but you're gonna want to be caffeinated when you're watching this so that your brain is moving as fast as mine is. Anyways, I hope you all are going to enjoy this. We're gonna go ahead and get into these looks, and also stay tuned until the very end so that you can see my final thoughts on this palette. Going into day one, I always like to start off with a more natural look. So I'm going to go ahead and take the shade OG and work that into my crease on a nice fluffy crease brush. I'm then taking the shade 1988 and working that into my outer corner, and also blending it out with the same brush. I like this Real Techniques brush a lot. This is the base shadow brush because it works really well to press color into the outer corner, but then also to blend it out. Next, I'm taking the shade Yugo and blending that down onto my lower lash line. Now I'm going in with the shade Dragon and using a clean finger to press that all over the lid. To highlight, I'm using the shade Wasted and taking that on the inner corner and the brow bone. And then I just finished up this look with some eyeliner and mascara, and this is the completed look for day one. Going into this next look, we're keeping it very similar to what we did yesterday, but we're just amping up this one a little bit. I'm starting with the shade New Yorker, and I'm going to work that into my crease with a fluffy crease brush. Next, I'm taking the shade Yugo and working that into my outer corner, blending it out, and also working that down onto my lower lash line. Next, I'm going to take the shade BK and press that into my lower outer corner, and also work that a little bit on the outside of my lower lash line. For my lid shade, I am using one of the glitters, so I'm going to go ahead and prep my lids with the Anastasia glitter adhesive. And then right on top of that, I'm going to tap on the shade Liddy. I'm now using the shade Barb to highlight the inner corner and the brow bone. And then I just finished up the eyes and the rest of my face, and this is the completed look for day two. Okay, so for this third look, I had to do something with this blue. So I'm starting with the shade OG, and I'm just going to use that as a transition in my crease. Next, I'm taking the shade Yugo and working that onto the outer corner and blending that out, and also working that shade onto the lower lash line. I'm then taking the shade Leo on a clean finger and pressing that all over my lid. I'm also taking Cupcake and pressing that right where the blue and the outer corner meet. To add a little something extra to this look, I'm taking my Anastasia glitter adhesive and following my inner corner until right about halfway through the crease, and then directly on top of where I place that adhesive, I'm taking a small brush with the shade Gemini and placing that right on top. To highlight the inner corner and the brow bone, I'm using the shade Wasted. And then as usual, I just finished up the rest of my face, and this is the completed look for day three. Okay, so if that last look was a little bit too much for you guys, this look incorporates that blue in a much more subtle way. So I'm starting off with the shade OG once again and working that into my crease on a nice fluffy crease brush. Next, I'm taking the shade 1988 and working that onto my outer corner and blending it out. For the lid, I'm going to take the shade Georgina and tap that all over with a clean finger. Now the next thing that we're going to do is go ahead and create a winged liner on the top of our eye with the Tarte Sex Kitten felt tip liner. This is just a black liner. Now here is where the blue comes in. So I'm taking the shade Leo on a flat liner brush and running that across my lower lash line and also up under that wing that we just created. To finish up this look, I'm going in with the shade Wasted and highlighting my inner corner and my brow bone. And then I just finished up this look with some mascara and a lip color, and we are completed with whatever day this is, I forgot. Okay, you guys, so for this next look, I wanted to attempt a smoky eye because that's something that I've never really done successfully on myself. So I'm starting out with the shade 1988 and packing that all over my lid. Next, I'm going into the shade BK and putting that on my lid as well, but keeping it slightly lower and closer to the lash line. Once that shade has been placed, I'm going in with the shade New Yorker and blending out all of those edges. For the lower lash line, I'm taking the shade BK and pressing that all over. And then dipping into 1988, I'm going to go ahead and blend that out. To highlight the inner corner and the brow, I'm taking the shade Wasted. And then I just finished up the rest of the face, and although this look is a little bit messy, this is the completed look for day 5. So day 6, you guys, who would I be, honestly, if I didn't do something with these pinks? So I'm starting by mixing the shades OG and Semza together, and I'm going to apply that all the way through my crease. Next, I'm taking Semza on its own and applying that lower in the crease and in the outer corner as well. I'm next taking the shade Yugo and placing that low in my outer corner and also down onto my lower lash line. I'm next taking the shade Resi and putting that in the center of my lid. And then taking the shade Anastasia, I'm placing that on the inner portion of the lid. Dipping into the shade Barb, I'm going to go ahead and highlight my inner corner and brow bone. And then I just finished up the rest of my face, and we are completed with this pink look for day 6. So day 7 is kind of the day where I give up and just kind of hope that the look works out. So I'm starting off with the shade New Yorker and placing that throughout my crease. Next, I'm taking Semza and Yugo together and placing that on the outer corner. For the lower lash line, I'm taking the shade Georgina. On the center of the lid, I'm going to take the shade Cupcake and press that in the center with a clean finger. And then for the inner portion of the lid, I'm taking the shade Wasted. Using the shade Barb, I'm going to highlight the inner corner and the brow bone. And then I just finished up the rest of the face, and this is the completed look for day 7. So my overall thoughts, you guys, I think that this palette is really quite good. The Anastasia shadows just blend so beautifully, and I knew that going in. I've worked with Anastasia shadows in the past quite a lot. I have probably 6 of her palettes, but something that is probably the most notable for me when it comes to this palette is I never came to a point where I got tired of using it. So for me personally, when I use a palette over and over again for multiple days, by about day 3, I get really sick of it and I'm like, I'm ready for a change. And that's exactly how I was with the James Charles X Morphe palette, which is really shocking because that palette has like a million different eyeshadows in it. You can literally create every single look on the planet. But with this palette, I really did find I never came to a point where I got sick of using it. Now, if I had to use it again tomorrow, I'd probably get sick of using it. But I can confidently use this for a week, create all different looks, and not be sick of using it, which I think is incredible. I also really love the versatility that you get in here because it is a more natural palette, but as you can see, you have a bright pink, a bright blue, that purple shade in there, and you have a few glitters in here as well. So I think that this palette is perfect for people that want natural eyes, but they want something where if they wanted the option to add a pop of blue, they have that. And so this palette I think is really, really great overall. So that's really my take on the Anastasia Amrezy palette. As always, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you would like to watch my last video, you can go ahead and do that right over here. And if you would like to subscribe to my channel, which I urge you all to do, you can go ahead and click right over here. Also, leave a comment down below letting me know if you would like to see more videos like this, if you would like to see me do this video with a specific palette, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.